Hari Om and welcome to all the Divine Atma Jyotis to today's Bhagavad Gita Satsang. Today let us learn to chant and contemplate on Shloka 7.4 from Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Bhūmir-āpo nalo vāyuḥ kham mano buddhir cha ahankāra itīyaṁ bhinnā prakṛitir aṣhṭadhā. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and ego. These are 8 components of my material energy. Bhūmiḥ, earth, āpaḥ, water, analaḥ, fire, vāyuḥ, air, kham, space, manaḥ, mind, buddhiḥ, intellect, eva, certainly, cha, and ahankāraḥ, ego, iti, thus, iyam, all these, me, my, bhinnā, divisions, prakṛitiḥ, material energy, aṣhṭadhā, eightfold. So this is what Sri Krishna is saying. So now we can begin our contemplation. Each one of us can share how do we relate to this shloka, what is that Sri Krishna is pointing at, and what is the use of this shloka in our day-to-day life. So like that we can take 2-3 different perspectives and we can contemplate. Anyone wants to go ahead first? Santoshji, you want to?
Yeah. So in this shloka, Krishna talks about, he points to earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intelligence, and ego, the 8 elements. The same 8 elements is comprises of the body, and yet Brahmanda, that pindande, whatever we say, the Brahmanda is consists of these 8 elements, and the same 8 elements comprise of this pindanda as well, which means the body is made up of all these 5 elements and with the intelligence, mind, and ego, which in turn, when we see the Ishvara as a Virata Purusha, we see him as a world, and the creation begins with him. It looks like in the manifestation, creation looks like, it begins with him, and it starts looking like creation is happening. And similar way, when we take as an individual body or a pindanda in that Brahmanda, even this body is made up of these 5 elements. And similarly, it has mind, ego, and intelligence, which in turn, we have to utilize, this. First thing is we need to know that Brahmanda, whatever that we see, is also made up of 5 elements, and even the body is also made of 5 elements, which in turn, there is no difference in the made. It only, ego, which claims that, it is actually doing everything and pointing. And this in turn, we need to overcome and get one with the creation. Whatever we say as what is Bhumi, or Ishvara.
So this is how you relate to this.
Yes, Jivatma and Paramatma are one. Ishvara is nothing but, Virata Purusha. And I am part of that. Even I am also comprised of the same element. But I claim that, I am doer, I am doing everything, and that ego plays the role, and, that actually, covers that what I am exactly is, and I'll become sufferer based on that. This is what I understand.
And why do you think Krishna is teaching us this knowledge?
Krishna is teaching this knowledge to say that, whatever that you say that, this body is and this world is one and the same. Just to give that, there is no difference. And we claim that, we are doer, we are doing this one, and because of me it is happening. There is nothing to claim. Everything in the Srishti, in creation, it's happening.
So to remove that individual doership, Krishna is teaching this is what you are saying.
Yeah, individual doership, as well as to say that everything is one and the same. But we claim that it is our ego will claim. But there, and Ishvara with Maya, his creation is happening.
Okay. Anything more you would like to add, Santoshji?
That's all, Vijayji, for now. If something, points, I'll just try to add it.
Thank you very much, Santoshji.
Thank you.
Satishji, would you like to share your perspective? Satishji, are you there?
I'll go next, Vijay. Helping mother in Russia.
All right. Sure. Krishnaji, would you like to share?
Yeah. So I had similar viewpoint which Santosh was saying, and also it's a universe also is same, and we are also composed of all these 8 elements. The significant is that, so we feel or I feel sometimes incomplete, I mean keep on searching for happiness, but and we feel some other or other things are doing well, other elements, but by nature we are composed of this element as well as the other universe by itself. So through this uh, through this I think Krishna is saying we both are same, and it's just the ignorance or something piled up for some time, like it which is pointing to the wrong truth. And so we have to remove that ignorance, so that way like we'll be in sync with universe, and then we would be complete, or like we'll be in bliss. So that's one viewpoint I had, so want to listen also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, you're saying that by teaching about how the material energy is constituted,
Mm.
it is removing my own ignorance that I am something else.
Mm.
Is the point you're making?
Mm.
Okay. Thank you, Krishnaji.
Thank you.
Siaji, would you like to share your views?
Yes. In my perspective, I think Krishna is trying to imply that all these energies are available in the universe, but it is how the human behaviors, thoughts, actions, he's able to access these elements. So, if he's not in the he's not in the right headspace or mindset, he won't be able to access most of these elements. But once he starts to realize that, I should focus not on the materialistic energy, he'll start to access all these components. That's my viewpoint.
So when you say starts to access, who accesses and for what purpose?
I think when he has realized, like he's grown out of the mindset that he is in, and it will slowly start to come to him, like he's ready for that part of, like, how to say, like that part of the component, like it's like, how to say this, he will just be able to, he'll slowly start to realize, I think.
Realize what? He'll slowly start to realize, but what?
Like for example, the mind, like the thoughts that he had before, if he starts to think differently, he will also grow, and his intellect will also grow, and his ego will be reduced, and he will have a bigger perspective.
So he'll be
Yeah.
able to access what you are
a
saying.
lot of a lot of the things that he didn't know before, he'll slowly start to realize them. Like it's a process, a gradual process.
Okay. And how do you see the connection between what you are saying, which is, somebody expanding from their limitation, to Krishna here in this shloka teaching about, hey, these are my 8 constituents of material energy. By pointing you and me towards this is how the material energy is, this is how the materials are constructed, how is that going to help the point you made, which is my expansion?
Because I think the more the person starts to expand his thinking, he will start to become more spiritual. I'm only speaking in my experience though. Like I am not sure about other, like there are so many different people and they also have their experiences, so I'm not sure about that, but I'm talking in perspective of mine. Like that's what I got from this. uh,
Excellent.
yeah.
One thing is, when you're stating, please notice, whoever it may be can only speak from their own experience. Is it not?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. So the way you are seeing is, it enables one to expand their own consciousness.
Yes.
Wonderful. Very nice. Thank you, Siyaji.
Thank you, Vijayji.
Satish ji, would you like to share?
Yeah, yeah, Hari Om. So the entire universe composes of all these 8 elements that were this verse is trying to convey. How it is made up of the energy from the Lord, and these are these all 8 material energies, and that's present across the universe, and that's what connects people. That's what I know.
Okay, so all these are in everything, and that's what connects everyone, is your viewpoint.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Satish ji. Saranan ji, would you like to share your viewpoint?
Yeah, so looking at these, the 5 basic elements, what we call Panchabhutas, right? Earth, water, fire, air, space. Almost all what we see in the world is a combination of these 5 elements. Like, and so what we can say is, all that we see is finally boils down to this. Okay, like how to compare different, if you have different gold ornaments, finally it boils down to one thing, which is all gold. And same way, the whole whatever one sees in this world, buildings, roads, trees, plants, human body, right? Whatever one can see, it can be uh, uh, you can break it down to these 5 elements. One, I can see that. And two, just being there, it will be completely like uh, it it has nothing, and the one that gives life to these, where like the world looks very lively, is the next 3: mind, intellect, ego, right? So where the intellect is the one which is like making sense and trying to build the knowledge of it, and mind is the one which is driving through its instruments of like eyes, ears, the five senses through which it reads these things, right, and interprets, and the ego is the one which is trying to make sense out of all this, right? It is as a master trying to uh, uh, as a like a driver, right? It's trying to make sense out of all these elements. Now he's saying all these are part of his material energy, right? So it is all. So there is one tattva, that is Krishna, right? Uh, the let's say the Ishvara, or in form, in form as Krishna, or without form as like Brahman, what the other term we use, right? So one is this conscious or Brahman or the consciousness. This is all the material. Now this sloka is trying to point to that is, these are all not the consciousness. These are all these material components, right? So if I take me, okay, where like I have this mind, intellect, ego, and my body is made of these five elements, right? And what is holding this, or like what is powering this, that is what is standing out, right? It's clearly like he's able to separate the one that is powering or giving life to all these things at the end, right? So this sloka right now is pointing to that, know that whatever you see, including this body, everything is made of these five elements, and the one that is making sense of this is the mind, intellect, ego. And in I'm just trying to draw parallels. Um, in our IT world, we use this client server. Okay, so everything goes by a pair or a transmitter receiver, right? So these two are the on one side is this panchabhutas, and the other one is the mind, intellect, ego. They are together as a pair, right? So they are part of one. Okay, and uh, so right now, just going by this shloka, I can say that is pointing out to that. And I'm sure if we look at the slokas next coming, you will be able to see where he's taking us to. I'm just limiting the explanation to this here.
Wonderful. And what is your viewpoint, Saravanji? Why is he pointing us about this? It is as if
Yeah.
like he's trying to teach us about some simple fundamentals of physics.
Yeah. One thing that's common is all these are changing, right? So all the things what I see in this world, right? Everything is changing. So, and something that is changing is basically not the real or true truth. A truth is something which is like same forever. I think that one thing is very clear here, right? All these what is derived out of this panchatatvas, the panchabhutas, the basic thing is like they keep changing, and even the mind, intellect, ego, they keep changing, right? So who is behind? Who is able to see them changing? That person has that one has to be an unchanging one. Only then I can say that the others is changing. So I think so. He's trying to point to that one who is able to see these changing ones. Right. This is the common thing. And if I can say that these are changing, then I have to be unchanging to say that this is changing. Like how a train master sitting in a station can say that, you know what, this train came and went, this train came and went. Why? Only because he's sitting there, saw all the trains come and go. Only then he can say that. That means he's a unchanging one, seeing the changing. Same way, if one is able to see all this changing, then hey, if you are able to see this changing, then see who is telling you that these are changing, right? And if these are changing, then if you are able to see them changing, then you cannot be part of that change. Then you have to be the unchanging one. Then go look at that truth. You are that unchanging one who is able to see all this changing. And that's where all our prayers take us to, which is asatoma sadgame, like from unreal to the real. Right? So that's how I put it. Yeah, I think your next maybe follow-up question or some clue got me the connection.
Very nice. Excellent, Sarananji.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's remind ourselves again the context in which we are learning this. So first is, we all have got attracted to Bhagavad Gita. Please ask yourself, it's a very individual question. What is that you are seeking through Bhagavad Gita? What has made you come to the Bhagavad Gita learning? So this is one context, very important, a very personal context. Why am I here? Then let's look at the next most important context, which is, how does Bhagavad Gita start? It starts with somebody's grief. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Somebody is crying. Somebody is terrified. Somebody is very tensed up. About what? About an impending war. So this fellow is terrified, petrified, doesn't know how to take the next step. That is when he is asking his own charioteer, Krishna, you seem to be okay in all situations of life. Right now, I am unable to even take the next step. Tell me what is that I should be doing. Tell me how I should conduct myself. Simple question, no? Each one of us have faced similar situation in life. Some situation and you and I may not have been able to take the next step. What guides you in that particular situation? What enables you to take the next step is the essential unfolding. So one single question by a fellow called Arjuna has unfolded a whole Bhagavad Gita. And what is the content of Bhagavad Gita? So now his problem is grief. His problem is, I'm petrified. I don't know what to do next. That is his problem of life. He is not there for what Krishna has to teach through the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. He simply wants to get rid of his, I am stalled now. I want to take the next step. Tell me what I should be doing. This is my life situation. I have an exam to face. I have a job to do. I have my wife and husband problem. I have my neighbors who are giving me grief. I have a loan. I have ill health. I feel unnecessarily angry, upset. These are situations of your life and my life. So how can then Krishna help all of us? Because each of our problems seems to be so radically different. Is it not? See, when somebody is having headache, they prescribe, let's say, medicine A. When somebody is having an eye problem, they prescribe a medicine B. A tooth problem, another medicine C. For that matter, even doctors are different. These days, there is a doctor who looks at only a part of the eye, only a part of the ear. So like that, if there's a body, there are some 20 million doctors. So even the doctors are different. But here Shri Krishna is essentially addressing that problem of Arjuna, and all of us are also attracted to this, because somewhere deep down, we are also seeking some kind of an answer to either it could be my own situation in life or something far deeper is pulling me. So how can multiple situations be addressed by one single stream of knowledge? How can it happen? So, for example, you and I may not like the same food. You and I may not like maybe chapati or chitrana. You may like puliogre, I may like pulao, somebody else may like dosa. So then, you and I cannot keep fighting that, oh, my food is better or your food is better. But what you and I can agree on, that when you and I eat whatever that we are eating, something called hunger goes away. So instead of focusing on the something that is apparently different, chitrana, puliogre, chapati, you and I can focus on, hey, something that you and I consume as food removes something called hunger. Now that is common. Whether it is you, me, somebody else, that is common. So by agreeing on common, then we can see how the whole thing is unfolding. So in a way, that agreeable common statement is what you and I can call as some kind of a universal statement. Is it not? See, you like puliogre, I like chapati is not universal. It is a very personal. But when you and I eat food, hunger goes away, is somewhat universal. So you can agree, I can agree, anybody else can agree. So Bhagavad Gita is full of such agreeable statements. So Krishna has made statements. It is for you and me, he has left the puzzle to rake our brain and to arrive at how it is agreeable. In a way, it is like he has put all these 700 puzzles in place so that you and I can continue to indulge ourselves in realizing something deeper, which is common, agreeable, universal. And that seems to have removed that Arjuna's problem, and it seems to be addressing many of our situations of life problem. So in a way, whatever that thing is, like, the puliogre that I ate made my hunger go away. Whatever this set of statements, and when I involve myself in solving them, it seems to address something else deep within me. That's the fundamental beauty of Bhagavad Gita. So, therefore, what is the main message that Shri Krishna is giving us? It is essentially, you are that. You are what? You are that. What is that? Whatever you call as the highest in your own realm of thinking. When you and I look at life, you and I can see, I am there and I am operating in the world, and the world seems to be separate from me. So I am there and the world is there. And what is world full of? World is full of things. Animals, birds, trees, mountains, river, people. So many stuff is out there. Stars, galaxies. So it seems to be immense. So it's out there. I am here and the world is there. And I am in the world, going from here to there to there, doing that, doing this, something. I am there. And many a times I wonder, you know what, today morning I wanted to drink coffee. I went and made coffee. So I made coffee, and this whole mountain, who made? So I find my own answer. So one of the common answer is there is a creator. There is a God. There is a all-powerful, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient God. Because, I need to find answers. Because all my search in life begins with a question, no? Because question is very natural to you and me. As a child, you and I start questioning everything. Why, what, how? That's very natural. So same tendency is even there. So unless there is some kind of a convincing answer, it continues to search. What? The mind. So therefore, I have to find some answer. One level of answer that you and I generally receive in life is, look, this is all made by a all-powerful God. Okay. Now, so there is God, there is world, there is me. You may give any name. So essentially, it has become kind of a, now there are three of us. Who am I? What is this world? Who is this God? What is my relationship among these three? Is a fundamental question. Because if I have to say I am crying, if somebody asks who is crying, then I have to know who is crying, right? So I have to know who I am. I am crying. So I have to know first and foremost. Why am I crying? Because somebody came and did something to me. I was walking and the wind came and knocked me over and I fell and I hurt. Wind. Where is wind? In the world. So world is constantly causing something to me. So I'm crying because the world is doing something to me. And there is this fellow called God who seems to have created both me and the world. And he seems to be having fun. He is having no karuna to me. So therefore, I have to figure out this basic puzzle. And what is the answer that Bhagavad Gita is giving? At a very simple fundamental level, which is a Mahavakya in Upanishad, Tattvatvam-asi. You are that. You are what? You are that divine only. Whoever you call as that highest, you are that only. And whatever you call as me and the world and the God is an illusion. It is not reality. It is simply a illusion. Your mind is making that up. This world is one family. Live like one wonderful family. Vasudhaiva kutumbakam. That's the message of all the great masters. I and you cannot get along with maybe our own wife and husband or maybe our own children. Where is the point of getting along with the Vasudhaiva kutumbakam? Right? So this is the fundamental question that Sri Krishna has set us on right from the beginning. Because right from the beginning he's saying you are unnecessarily crying for something that is not worthy of crying. So therefore what Sri Krishna does in the first 6 chapters is talking about who I am, which is what we call as Atma Darshana. In the next 6 chapters he is essentially talking about Brahma Darshana. Brahma means what? This entire cosmos, everything, whatever that you can lay your eyes on, from the smallest of the atom to the biggest of the galaxies out there, all of this is called as Brahmanda. So he's essentially in the next chapters, he's giving us a Brahma Darshana. In other words, he's helping you and me. Darshana means what? To see. He's helping you and me to see this Brahman. Now, this is outrageous, is it not? Because you and I know that this so-called world is so huge. Because, some of us may have seen some of these videos, the sheer variety of life. I'm sure you would have seen many such videos, but here is one such small one. Let's just watch it for a moment and then we will continue. So we talk about world. We talk about this universe, but it is unfathomable. The sheer variety, whatever in that video that was mentioned, millions of varieties of life on earth, it is a simple guess. And the number of stars, galaxies, so-called supernovas, clusters that have been identified is also simply a current simple guess. When I use the word guess, what I mean is it is not complete. It is a fair estimation. But the numbers are mind-boggling. See, you and I cannot really understand what does, for example, 100 million cells mean. For example, it says simply a 1 followed by, say, some 6 zeros. But what does it mean? So it is impossible to get this, right? But here is Sri Krishna talking about, Arjuna, I will give you Brahma Darshana. I will enable you to see the Brahman. So, how can I see the Brahman? You must be joking, is it not? How is it even possible? Look at the sheer size. How can such a claim be made? This is the wonderful nature or the wonderful science that our great seers have brought to us. And that is why it is of such immense value. See, when you and I have to understand something, it is not that you and I have to understand every little detail of it. If you and I understand something called as the fundamentals of it, or the essence of it, in a way, we can derive the particulars. As a simple example, there may be 100 million varieties of food on this place called Earth. However, any food that you and I eat is in a way constituted by 6 fundamental tastes, which we call as, the sour, the salty, the sweet, spicy, like that. The 6 fundamental tastes make up any kind of food. There may be 100 million or even innumerable varieties of songs, but any song is made up of 7 fundamental notes: sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. So like that, when you and I kind of see the essential aspect, then you and I can, in a way, know what can be made out of that essential aspect. You and I may not know a particular song, but you and I know that, oh, any song is a composition of these 7 notes. Or in the Western classical, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Or in similarly, in painting, you take some fundamentally 3 colors and you mix them match in so many different varieties, and you create various varieties, shades and temperatures. So in that way, when you and I focus on understanding the essentials, the fundamentals, in a way, you and I can understand the particular. May not know exactly all the details of the particular, but you and I know what the particular can be. That's the beauty of the science, or the inner science, the spiritual science that is being taught to you and me through Bhagavad Gita. So now, here's a very simple guess game. Okay, so would love to listen to your answers. I will be giving 5 clues, and I want you to guess what is that object that we are referring to. There is one single object, and there are 5 different clues about that, and I like your answers, right? Okay, so first is, when you hear this thing, it sounds like this. I hope you are all able to hear. Okay, so this is the first clue. When you listen to this thing, it sounds like this. If you feel, that is, when you touch it, it's very cool to touch, even on a relatively hot day. That's the second clue. Has anybody started guessing? Any answers already with these 2 clues alone?
No.
Okay, all right. Let me go to the next clue then. If you look at it, it has a long and a thin and a dark green form from outside, and a kind of a pale green inside shape. This object, whatever we are referring to. Okay, 3 clues are up. 2 more to go. Okay, if we were to eat this, it would give first a kind of a sweet, slightly, not very sweet, but light sweet flavor, and then afterwards, if you pay a little attention, there is a little bit of bitterness also in that when you taste it. This thing, whatever we are referring to. Any guess? Anybody wants to hazard a guess? Because we have only 1 more clue to go. Ishaji, are you listening to all this?
Yes, Vijayji, I didn't hear the first part hearing, but it's okay. Because you gave the other clues, no?
I can play that audio again. Just listen to this.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's a sound. Last
Okay.
but not, yeah, somebody wants to guess? Okay, last but not the least. If you smell, no, there's a kind of a cool, fresh scent to it. So these are the 5 clues about this.
Cucumber, I
Okay, what is making you feel it's a cucumber that we are referring to?
because you said cool to touch even on a hot day.
Huh?
And then a long, thin, dark green from outside. It's not pale green from inside. It's actually white. But sometimes it's like nice to eat and little bitterness sometimes. Yeah, that's what I just said.
Okay, excellent. Very good. Any other guess? Anybody else wants to guess? Yeah, one more guess. It's okay. There's nothing to
Grape
lose
also
here.
is fine, I think.
What?
But it's not long. Yeah, no. Cucumber.
No, I felt like lemongrass, but it is not.
Lemongrass. Okay, very good. Wonderful. Okay, one last guess. Anybody else? Siaji?
Aloe vera.
Aloe vera. Okay, all right. Wonderful. Thank you all. So this round goes to Ishaji. So
Good to know, Vijayji. I will guess.
good job, Ishaji. Good job. So the thing is now, okay, why did we play this particular game? Please see when you are saying, when Krishna is saying, I'll give you the darshana of the Brahmanda, I'll give you the essential view of the whole, yeah, which is infinite, which is so huge. What are the ways by which you can know that? Because if it is a truth, it must be something that is very simple and common that you and I also should know, right? It is not that, you and I need some billion-dollar equipments to know this. It must be something very simple and natural. Because, all these billion-dollar equipments were not there. Whatever the video that I showed now wasn't there in Mahabharata time. So, our rishis and munis, they cognized it. So, which means that it must be something very simple, very easy. Must be something that, each one of us should be able to get. What is the way by which you and I make sense of the world? How do you and I make sense of the world? If you really think about it, it's fundamentally you and I have only these 5 senses. Whatever you guessed now is only through these 5 senses. You hear, you feel the touch, you look, you taste, you smell. These are the only 5 aspects. And in this particular experiment that we just now did, this game, it's the same cucumber, but there's a certain distinct quality of it, which only through your hearing you could make out. Only through your touch you could make out. Like that, there are about 5 distinct aspects of the same object that we gathered. And, each one of us made a guess. And we guessed that, oh, this must be something like a vegetable, like a cucumber. Yeah, like how Ishaji guessed. So 5 different signals: hearing, feeling, looking, tasting, smelling, but ultimately made us realize, oh, it's one thing. So like that, now, how is that you and I are actually seeing anything in life or hearing anything in life? It is essentially this picture, right? So if you really think about it, whatever you are seeing, this example we can extend to touching, hearing, others. But let's understand it first from the seeing viewpoint. Some light falls and that goes into your eyes and that fires up your neurons and that goes into your mind where you compare whether I know this or not. Like how you just now played this game. You were comparing. Have I heard this sound anywhere else? Or when this example of the seeing is coming or the smell is coming, do I have any such experience? You are constantly looking into your Google, your own mind. It's called as chitta. That function is called chitta. You're looking through that. Do I have anything to compare? Your buddhi was constantly looking at it. And all these inputs were coming, streaming into you through your mana. So these are the 4 aspects in your so-called inner mind or inner body, antakkarana. In a way, it's like the software for this machine to work. Whereas this is like the hardware, all the physical things that you and I can touch, smell, feel through 5 senses. Whatever you and I can experience is a hardware. Mind is software. It cannot be experienced through the 5 senses. No one has seen the mind or heard the mind. But you alone know there is something else which is distinct, different from the physical, right? That is what you're calling as the mind. So in this mind, now you saw and you answered, oh, it may be this. Oh, it may be this. Each of the 5 senses is working in an exact similar way. But it is happening so fast, so quick, because you are an amazing mechanism. The body is an amazing mechanism. It is said to have more than 100 billion neurons. See, we all go to ChatGPT and we ask ChatGPT and ChatGPT answers. And it is called as a large language model. It is said to have many input points, 1 billion input points. And it is constructed out of so many layers of neurons. A neural network is how these machines learn. Essentially, some simple mathematics through some layers and layers of transformation. But your so-called brain is far superior to any of that today's, even the best LLM that has come to, right? So that mechanism is kicking in and you're coming to a decision. Now, this is how all the 5 senses are working. So now you can appreciate when Shri Krishna is saying, see, you are there. And for a moment, imagine, you are like that child. Okay, you are simply there. And your buddhi, your input and your memory may not have been constructed completely. Your ego may not have constructed. Who I am is not yet constructed. Now, to that you, what is coming in? Input is streaming in through these 5 senses. The sound, the touch, the taste, the smell, the form. This is what is coming in. So these are your 5 signals. So from these 5 signals, what is cognized? There is something that is giving a signal to the ear. There is something that is giving a signal to the touch. So like that, now these 5 must be very unique signals. Why? Because you have only 5 input. You do not have a 6th one. The world may be made out of, as a simple example I'm saying, world may be made out of 10. But because you have only 5 distinct signal input capacity, 5 elements, it is made up of 5 distinct elements. And each element, each aspect is gathered by one of your input senses. So that is how these 5 come in Krishna's explanation. Kham. So that is nothing but the space. Vāyuḥ, āpaḥ, bhūmir, analaḥ. So these are the 5 which are experienced by your 5 senses, which then stream into your input, which is also called as the sthula. Sthula means gross. Why? Because it can be experienced by your 5 senses. So the earth element can be experienced through the sensation called smell. The water element can be experienced through the sensation called taste. so on and so forth. The space element through sound. So this is the 5. But here he's talking about it is made up of 8. The other 3 is what is inside. No one has seen. Subtle. So this is where in the last picture you saw, in the seeing, you saw the antakarana is made up of mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankāra. So mana and chitta are connected here in this explanation by Sri Krishna, because it is the input and the memory. It triggers immediately. So that is what is referred here as mana in this shloka. Then buddhi is the intellect, the decision maker. Ahankāra, ego. So now you can see the magic. Whatever you're experiencing in life, please see, is only these 8 elements. These 5 inputs are coming in, and through the various changes that are happening in the mind, through these 3, these 8 are getting mixed, and a certain situation of life is getting is coming in front of you. So what you and I call as you and I are experiencing life is nothing but these 8 aspects. These 8 aspects. And that is essentially what Sri Krishna is teaching you and me in this shloka. That Arjuna, these are nothing but my material energy. This is part of me. Sri Krishna is saying. So that is what you and I are experiencing in life. Even this body, how do you experience this body itself? Through your 5 senses. So even this body itself is made up of these 5 panchabhutas and the 3 subtle aspects. So bhūmir-āpo, analaḥ, vāyuḥ, kham, manaḥ, buddhiḥ, ahankāra. So these 8. Why Krishna wants you and me to recognize these 8? Because you and I have a fundamental illusion that I am separate from the world. Now you can see actually the so-called world and so-called me. When I usually say me, what do I refer to? This body and mind. This body and mind is part of the so-called world only. So Krishna is helping you and me to recognize some kind of a common, universal, essential aspect in the sheer mind-boggling variety called the world or the universe. What a wonderful word in English we have, universe. When we hear that, at first glance, it appears like universe. Oh, that which is out there, universe. But break it, universe. Uni, one verse, kind of a one song. This entirety is one song. Excellent. Different languages have different ways by which they are hiding the truth. So this is what Sri Krishna wants you and me to recognize and realize. Hari Om. Does anyone have any question or anything to add?
Okay, Vijay, can you just give me the, summary, I mean, in one line by now, because the world and the Brahmanda and Pindanda is made up of the same material, and through same 5 elements we are actually experiencing. In that, in that experience, we are actually one with that source. That's what it means to say?
Yeah, so what is being referred here? That whatever the sheer variety that you and I are seeing, all this variety is nothing but fundamentally has been boiled down to these 8 aspects. All these varieties. Just like how all different foods are nothing but 6 fundamental tastes. Are
Correct.
all songs are nothing but 7 fundamental notes.
Hmm.
All the novels in the world, English novels, is nothing but 26 letters.
All the colors, similarly, as you mentioned, 3 colors. Yeah.
Like that. The fundamental universal aspect is these 8 in the sheer variety that we see.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vishesh.
Yeah. Any other points or any other questions? Isha ji, Krishna ji, Siya ji, Satish ji, is it all clear?
Yes, Vijayji. No
Yeah.
question.
Yes, Vijayji.
All right. Then let us end our today's contemplation here. Thank you very much. Hari Om.